Welcome back, dear students. So, we'll start with the third session on the optical fibers. The next one is the attenuation. What exactly the attenuation means? So, it is nothing but the loss occurred during the transmission of the signal through the optical fiber. Whenever the light is transmitting through the optical fiber, so there will be a loss. So, we have different types of the losses are there. So, one by one we'll discuss. The first one is the absorption. The name itself indicates absorption, means whenever the light of suitable wavelength is passed through the optical fiber, the light will be absorbed. So there are two types of the absorptions are there. The first one is the intrinsic absorption and second one is the extrinsic absorption. What is the meaning of the intrinsic absorption? So it is nothing but in simple words we can state it as it is the inherent property of the fiber material to absorb the light. It means usually the fiber material, the core of the fiber material is usually made up of the glass. So the glass, it has its unique property to absorb the light at particular wavelength. So we cannot stop that one. So it's a that's why we have called it as it's the inherent property of the fiber material, the glass material. So that particular the absorption at that particular wavelength we cannot stop it. Rather we can use some different wavelength to avoid that absorption. So in basic we cannot stop the intrinsic absorption. Only if we tune the wavelength, the different wavelength if we pass, it can be avoided. Second one is the extrinsic absorption. It is nothing but it is the absorption due to the impurities which are present in the fiber material. The first one was it is the inherent property. Second one, along with that inherent property, if any of the impurities they are present during the fiber drawing, maybe the OH ions, the hydroxyl ions, maybe some the copper, the cobalt, nickel. So these the metals they may be present in a very minute ppm or ppb level, they may be present, but due to the presence of those impurities, once again those impurities they are going to absorb the light at particular wavelength. So to avoid this extrinsic absorption, the best solution is try to get the fiber core material in a purest form. So this is something about the absorption. Second one is the scattering loss. So in scattering there are two types are there. The first one is the Rayleigh scattering and second one is the Mie scattering. First one, that is the Rayleigh scattering. It is due to the variation in the refractive index of the core of the fiber material. If it means during the fiber drawing in the sense whenever the fiber you want to make in the form of the spool, if you want to that process the drawing, we observe that there might be some variation in the refractive index of the core of the fiber. So this clearly it is shown in the diagram. So we can observe, so this is one of the flaws or the variation in the refractive index. So the core of the fiber is not made up of uniform refractive index. Somewhere in the core, so there is a change in the refractive index. So due to this what happens, a ray of light, when it is incident here, okay, it hits this the flaws, and once there it scatters, and at the interface it is unable to meet the TIR condition, and eventually it is lost to the surrounding. So due to such type of the uh, scattering, such type of the loss, we call it as the Rayleigh scattering, where it is due to the variation in the refractive index of the core itself. Now this Rayleigh scattering, it is approximately proportional to lambda raised to minus 4, that is 1 by lambda raised to 4. The Rayleigh scattering is proportional to 1 by lambda raised to 4. So to avoid this one, only the best solution is try to use higher wavelength, that is in the infrared region. If you use the higher wavelength, the Rayleigh scattering can be minimized. Next, second one is Mie scattering. So it is due to the variation in the refractive index at core cladding interface of the fiber material. So once again, during the fiber fabrication or the drawing process, so there is first the core will be there, on that the cladding will be coated. So during this process, the fiber drawing the process, at that time there may be some irregularities may be there at the core cladding interface. So such type of scattering, whatever takes place, we call it as Mie scattering. So this we can go through with the diagram. So here we can observe, so these are the variation at the core cladding interface just. Now if any of the ray is incident at this particular the junction, that is at core cladding interface, then the light hits at that particular point and bounce back, and at this particular point it is unable to meet the TIR, and it will lead to the loss. So likewise, if there is any variation in at a core cladding interface, it will lead to the scattering, that is nothing but it will be lost to the surrounding. So such type of the scattering is known as Mie scattering. Easy to remember, Rayleigh, it is in the core itself, Mie scattering at core cladding interface. Third one is bending loss, or sometimes it is called as radiation loss. Once again, there are two types are there. One is macro bending and second one is micro bending. What this macro bending is? The name itself, it's a macro bending. So macro bend loss occurs when the fiber bend radius curvature is larger compared to the fiber diameter. It means whatever the bend radius, whatever the bend radius we are going to observe, so this bend radius it should be larger compared to the fiber diameter. Then here also what happens, the ray of light, it will enter, and due to the bending a small amount of the energy is lost to the surrounding. Okay, so this is nothing but the macro bending. As here the radius of curvature, this particular the radius of curvature, as this radius of curvature it decreases. Okay, when it decreases, the loss increases exponentially, and it will reach the maximum point. And at a particular point, if we try to bend, it may break into, because it is made up of glass. So as much as possible we would have to try to avoid the bending in the optical fiber. The next one is micro bending. So these, once again, these types of the loss, it occurs due to the uh, at the cladding, at the core cladding, or even at the cladding the region, there may be some the variation or the ripples may be formed at the core cladding interface. Sometimes some the tiny the cracks may be formed due to the external force that might be applied on the fiber structure. So such type it may be occur due to the during the manufacturing or due to the non-uniformity pressure when the cabling process is taking place. So here we can observe, so it may be at the core or core cladding interface, some small the cracks may be formed due to the external the pressure. Okay, such type of those thing the flaws, it leads to the loss to the surrounding. So such type of the loss we are going to call it as micro bending. Next, the fourth one is called as dispersion. So the dispersion is nothing but the spreading of the signal or the pulse. So here actually this is not exactly the type of the loss. We cannot call it as the loss, because here the information is not lost, but only thing is due to the spreading of the pulse, the signal overlaps. So this we can try to understand with the following diagram. See, this is, suppose this is the input signal which is fed to the fiber. So three different colors are there, independent. The signals are fed into the optical fiber. At the output we observe that, so these three, the wavelength, they overlap on each other, and at the end point it is very difficult to distinguish between these three signals. They have overlap, there is no loss, information is not lost, but due to the overlap it is very difficult to distinguish between the original information. To overcome this one, nowadays a special type of the fibers we are using in between, those are called as dispersion compensated fibers. If you use such a dispersion compensated fibers, we can overcome such the dispersion, and due to this one it definitely going to limit the bandwidth of the optical fiber. The last one is splice loss. What this the splicing or the splice loss is? So splicing, this terminology which we are using in the optical fiber, it is nothing but joining the two fibers. So while cabling, it is necessary to join the two optical fibers. So we have to join in such a way that the core of one fiber should exactly match with the core of the other fiber. Similarly, the cladding of one fiber should match with the other, such a way that it should be like a homogeneous, means it's okay, it should be exactly the core should match with the core, the cladding should match with the cladding of the fiber. So that process we are going to call it as the splicing. And during this splicing, as we have discussed earlier, the single mode step index fiber we are using, the core diameter is around 6 to 11 micrometer, very thin. So whenever we are joining one core of the fiber to the another core, there might be some misalignment in terms of micrometer. So if there is any small variation or misalignment in the of the core of those two fibers, the signal is lost to the surrounding. So as much as possible we have to avoid it. So whatever the loss, the signal loss we are going to occur during this, at this particular splicing point, it is known as splice loss. So nowadays, okay, in the we are using some splicing machines, they are available. So with the splicing machine, with the fusion, the splicing, so it is easy to join the two fiber ends. So these are the total around 5 types of the losses which we come across in the optical fibers. We call them as attenuation, that is the loss occur during the transmission of the signal during the light propagation through the optical fiber. Now with this the attenuation, now we'll come to the application of the optical fiber. Nowadays we are discussing something here, point to point communication. How exactly the voice signal can be transmitted from one point to the other point using optical fiber, and this we are discussing on the block diagram. We'll try to understand based on this particular the block diagram. Now coming to the so this is the phone through which the conversation takes place to the other phone which is at the further distance point. Now how exactly the voice is transmitted from one phone to the other phone? Now whenever we discuss or whenever the conversation takes place through the phone, through the receiver, whenever we talk, our analog, the signal, the voice or the analog signal is converted to the electrical signal in the receiver. So this is, our voice is converted, modulated into the electrical signal in the receiver. Then so that is fed to the coder. So this signal is fed to the coder. The role of the coder is to code it in the such a way that that electrical signal is converted into digital signal, that is it is converted into digital pulses. So such type of the pulses, the digital pulses will be formed, that is 0101. So these, the digital pulses, they are fed to the optical transmitter here. So this is the optical transmitter. So in the optical transmitter we use the laser diode source. Here the laser diode source is there. So we use the laser diode source at the here at the end, the laser diode source will be there. Now these, the digital signal, the pulses, they are mixed with the laser diode source, and the output of the laser diode source, it will be in the, now it is in the optical signal, it is wavelength tuned. Now that optical signal is fed through the that signal is fed through the optical fiber, and that information is carried from one point to the destination. So that destination may be within the city limit, or it may be 100 kilometer, 200 kilometer, it may be 1000 kilometer. So through the optical fiber, that signal is transmitted through the, next what happens, in between we encounter with regenerator. So regenerator, it is nothing but it is the in between we use that the space where exactly due to the one or the other attenuation what we discussed in the previous slide, the signal is deformed. It's the strength of the signal is reduced. So over the approximately around the distance of around 100 to 150 kilometer, such regenerators will be there where the weak signals they are fed and they are amplified. Once again, such the amplified signals they are forwarded once again fed through the optical fiber. Later on it goes to the destination, and in the destination that optical signal is fed to the optical receiver. So that optical receiver, it is nothing but the photo detector. So the role of the photo detector is to convert the optical signal into electrical signal. So our modulated optical signals through the optical fibers, they are fed to the photo detector, and its electrical signals are converted. So that is the output from the optical receiver, they will be once again in the form of the the pulses. Now the digital pulses, they are fed to the decoder. The role of the decoder is exactly opposite of the coder. Now the signals or the pulses through the decoder, whenever it is fed to the decoder, they are converted back to the electrical signal through the receiver we observe, and that is nothing but our original signal. This is how the information from one point to the other point is carried out. Now the whole process, the whole unit is called as, it is known as the modulation, or sometimes we call it as a transmitter. The next one, the second part, it is known as the demodulation, or sometimes the receiver we call it as. So the first part is the modulation and second part is the demodulation. Through this the optical signals are using the optical fiber, it is very easy to establish the communication. So this is nothing but the optical fiber point to point communication. The last one is nothing but what are the advantages and disadvantages of the optical fiber over coaxial cable. So coaxial cable are nothing but the copper cable, which earlier around 20 plus years back we used to have that system. We'll discuss one by one the advantages. The first one is the bandwidth. The bandwidth in the optical fiber is very, very large. A huge bandwidth is there. Nowadays, if you can observe through the optical fiber, the cable network to our house, in that the TV channels will be there, more than around 200 plus the channels will be there. Through that we can have a audio, we can have the internet connection. Likewise, many more the information can be carried out because due to the large bandwidth. So this is, we have a very high bandwidth in the optical fiber, whereas in coaxial cable, that is copper cable, it is not that, it is very very less. Second one is low power loss. So during the transmission the loss is very minimum, so it can be minimized as much as possible. But with the coaxial cable the loss is a little bit high. The third one we can take is interference. In the form of the interference, this is optical fiber is, it is immune towards RFI, that is radio frequency interference. It means we can install it in any electrical grid or electrical power station, so that the electrical signals, it is not having any the impact on the optical fiber, because whatever the signals they are passing, they are nothing in the form of the light, so it is immune towards the RFI. Whereas the copper cable we cannot use, because whatever the through the optical fiber, whatever the current, the signal it is passing, whenever you install in any of the power grid or somewhere, some interference takes place. The next one is the size and weight. The size of the optical fiber we have discussed. Such the fiber bundle, if you make around 6, 12, 24 such type of the bundles during the installation, even if you take into account, the size is very very small, and the weight of that particular optical fiber is also very very small, compared to the coaxial cable, if you take into account. Next, the optical fibers are cost effective, because the raw material used for this optical fiber is the silica, so which is abundantly available in the sand, therefore it is very cost effective. Whereas the copper, it's a heavy it's a metal, so obviously it is going to be costlier compared to the optical fiber. Third is high carrying capacity, means the large the information at a given instant of time we can carry, as we discussed in the bandwidth, that one. Security. The next one is security. Security is nothing but whenever the conversation is taking between the 2 points, that information is quite secured. It means the third person, he cannot tap that information easily. It is very difficult to tap the information in the optical fiber, whereas in the coaxial cable it was very easy. Any person, okay, he can easily tap, and even it was very difficult to come to know to the other 2 person who are having the conversation. Easily the information can be trapped in the coaxial cable, while it is just not possible in the optical fiber, because once you want to tap, whenever you cut somewhere, the information is lost to the surrounding. And easily with the OTDR machine, optical time domain reflector machine, easily we can trace out where the leakage has taken place in the optical fiber. We can trace out where and what direction that signal has lost. Easily it is retraceable. That is not possible with the coaxial cable. And flexibility, it's a fiber, it is quite flexible, optical fiber. So these are the few of the advantages. As anything having the advantages, similarly we can expect few of the disadvantages. Coming to the disadvantages, the first one is it is difficult in splicing. Difficult in the sense, a ordinary person, he cannot go and join the 2 fibers. For that one, a splicing machine is required, and a skilled person is required to fuse them, to join them. While in the coaxial cable, no such, okay, the difficulty is there. Easily 2 copper, the cable, if you twist it, finish, the connection is established. There is no such the skilled labor is required, any precautions is required. Just as the copper wire, okay, we twist it, the signal is established between the two the cables. So that is, the splicing is a little bit difficult in the optical fiber. Installation is expensive. So lot of care we have to take. All those splicing machine and many more, whatever the installation process is there, at one time it is little bit costly compared to the coaxial cable. The next one is the bending limits. So we cannot bend the optical fiber according to our wish. So that will eventually leads to the loss, or sometimes the cable may break. That what we have discussed in the macro bending. The bend radius, if it increases beyond the fiber the dimension, sometimes it may break, it will lead to the macro bending. So we cannot bend the optical fiber anyway. While the coaxial cable, it is according to our wish, we can bend it. Last one, we can add it, the lifespan. It is observed that from the research, the glass is made up of the core of the material is made up of the glass. So it is observed that there will be some distortion in the glass over the period of some around 20 to 25 years. Over the 20 to 25 years, so there is a defects we are going to observe in the glass. Due to that one, there may be a change in the shape of the core of the fiber or the cladding of the fiber. So this variation we can observe over around 20 plus years. So after that, there is no option, we have to replace the fiber, because the core and cladding, they might have lost the dimension. While the copper cable, that is not the case. The lifespan is much higher in the coaxial cable. So these are the few of the advantages and the disadvantages of the optical fiber over coaxial cable. Thank you.